All right. Welcome to our next episode of D Rich Effect Anime. Uh, I am D Rich. Below me is Mama Roach, also my sister Megs, and this is my brother from another mother, Felix. So, as per our last episode, um, we've been watching Black Butler, and it took a little while because of life. But we finally got through episodes 4 and 5, and Felix offered to join in on this episode, so he watched those 2 episodes so he could be a part of the discussion. So I got to it yesterday. Megs, you got to it this morning, right?
Yes.
And yesterday you got to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we get into 3 and 4 or 4 and 5, we we challenged each other to rewatch episode 3. So in rewatching episode 3, I learned that both of us were wrong in the last episode.
Right. You are absolutely right.
So we both remembered a little key factor wrong. So you were right that he wasn't CL's butler in training, but he was in training
Right.
by Sebastian. And I was also wrong, but right. And saying it wasn't who you thought it was, whose person's butler you thought it was. So it's not the betrothed. And I was like, yeah, he was
Well,
just
it's
taking her.
Auntie. It's the aunt's
Yeah, it
butler.
is the ants. Okay. So that now that we got episode 3 done, okay, we're going to talk about episode 4. What is your guys's? It doesn't matter who wants to go first. What was your guys's hot take for episode 4?
Hot take.
That's when
The ball.
the ball where he's dressed up as
Yes.
Madam.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
I just remember it being an exposition leading into 5.
So my hot take was the lengths that they went to try to capture Jack the Ripper when he
Right.
was introduced.
Right.
And what you were saying was like the furry dress, like having the main character CL dress and drag.
Adorable.
To try to catch Jack the Ripper.
Yeah. Or who they thought was Jack the Ripper.
Right.
Yeah.
That was
Trying
it
not
for
to get caught by what's her face.
The
Can't
fiance,
remember
the
the girl's
betrothed. Yeah. Oh. So animation wise, I thought they did it really well, especially with the magic trick.
yes.
If you remember the
Very
magic trick.
yes.
I don't remember what the trick was. I remember them asking about it.
When
Like,
he-
So Sebastian
like
drops like
into-
drops
he
like
went
this
in-
cabinet and goes, I'm gonna step inside, you're gonna chain it up, and you're gonna stab all these swords in, and I will come out unscathed. And it's there's no illusions, there's nothing, and it's like it's all magic, and it's just like the way
all
they did it
magic.
was, to me, animation wise, was really done well, because that first sword, you see the blood spray from the top, and then he comes out and there's no blood at all.
It was a close one.
I just love the comment after he's like, "You really aim for my head every single time."
Yeah,
That was a good part.
that was.
And they're like, "How did you do it?" It's like, "Oh my god! Like, what kind of trick was it?" He's like, "It was nothing but magic, man."
Yeah, right?
Magic.
Because he's one hell of a butler.
The butler. Exactly. He's one hell of a butler.
Fucking Sebastian.
So
did mention to Ricky today that we agreed to do the 2 episodes, but I could actually just keep going.
and
So
because you're gonna have to rewatch them.
no, it's
That good.
I don't want to like stop. I want to keep going.
Yeah. No,
But
I
I
get it.
stopped.
It's like any
So
good show. Once you get into it, you're like, I don't
so
want to.
so
I don't
we
want
we
to.
we were just
Let me keep going.
me and Felix were just talking about this right before this episode being filmed was trying to get Felix to watch something that he doesn't want to watch. And I was like, there's going to be a problem with that because once I start watching it, Twyla's going to sit next to me. And next thing we know, we're going to be end of season 1, into season 2, or so. Like
It's
one of the
okay.
animes that I'm currently rewatching, Overlord. I know that you really don't want to watch because you already said you don't want stuff that seems like it's a video game.
Right.
So, or I would have
But you love solo
told you to
leveling.
watch, Overlord, which
Right.
is it's really done well.
Well, I'll make it into a little more, the anime, and we'll see.
Right.
Maybe in 6 months, I may be like, you know what? Let's try it.
I will give you for Overlord. Only the very beginning is very game like. They do a very good transition out of it to like
Okay.
there's it the game mechanic thing kind of becomes like a background for only the main character, and then when it like does other characters, there's no game like qualities at all.
Okay.
They do it kind of like solo leveling. It's only the main character that has it, and then
I was
everyone else is like it's real life. They have no idea of the system.
right.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
I'm like, while you're saying that, I'm like, solo leveling.
Yes.
well, like in Overlord, the subordinates remember certain aspects of the game, like their creators
Okay.
and they keep referencing them as their creators. So it's
Yeah.
not like it's a full transition to them not remembering that part of the game. They
Right.
remember that part of the game. It's like it's instilled in their DNA
Yeah.
It's just for them it's not a game. It was like this was our life.
the whole time.
That's how it always was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like all the game mechanic stuff for them is like lore and how they use their abilities. It's not like I use a skill by using a button in the
Yeah.
Right.
system. It's more like I have a class and this is what I can do with my class.
Right.
Yeah.
So
All right.
speaking on that, we're gonna start talking about episode 5.
I was gonna say, let's get back into episode
Well,
5.
no. That's a perfect lead in with what Felix just said because of what happens in episode 5 for Black
Mhm.
Butler. So, in episode 5, we learn who Jack the Ripper is.
Bye,
So,
Auntie. Goodbye, Auntie.
I was hoping that they would have done it more of kind of what real life Jack the Ripper was.
Right.
I mean,
You
it's a
know, but
little hard because
that was
there's
because that's how they started it. Like he was just after prostitutes, and he
well
was,
the problem with trying to do it to real life is there's not too much confirmed on what was Jack the Ripper and what they possibly believe were like copycats and or just other people trying to disguise their murders
right.
as Jack's.
But no, what I mean, like it being a dude, Jack the Ripper being a dude,
Well, there's no concrete evidence it was a man.
right?
It could
Not
have been
like
a woman.
Sweeney
It could
Todd.
have been a torn lady of the night who got super angry and were killing her fellow prostitutes.
Yeah,
Is it likely? Maybe not, but it's a possibility.
no,
But that's
very much so.
from my knowledge of what is like confirmed for Jack the Ripper. I don't know if there's too much like truly confirmed on his like actual story. It's just it became more of a legend that people
Well,
were
I
like
know
added on
recently they
to.
said that they actually found the DNA of who they believe is Jack the Ripper.
If that's true, that's pretty cool.
So, but I know when Black Butler was made, there was no evidence like that, like there is today.
But also, technically, for Black Butler, Jack the Ripper is two people, one of which is technically
Yeah,
a dude.
right. Now that threw me for a loop because as we were talking in the last episode, I absolutely hated the
And
character of the butler in training.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely hated him. Like, and that was our big talking discussion of our last episode that we filmed. Something about him, it was just like, I don't remember reading it, but I remember reading past where we're currently at in the anime. But I just like
it didn't
that
register.
aspect of what was going on just didn't click in my head. And it was like, I'm watching it for the first time and I'm like, I hate this character. I hate this character. It's like
I think
he
when I
does the
watched it
smallest
years
thing and
ago,
then he's like, I'm gonna kill myself, and then you're like, oh, I just hate him.
I think when
Yeah,
I watched it years ago, I also hated him.
But it makes so much sense after episode 5 that it was all deception.
right. It was all a ploy. Yeah, no, that was a very interesting scene or little
I
tidbit.
kind
It
of want
wasn't
his
just
comb. I want my hair to go red. Oh.
I did love the aunt's whole thing of like I used to hate Red.
Yeah, right. That
Her little
backstory
backstory
was
of like all the tragedy in her life. The I forget if it was an accident or
yeah, it was a car
a medical
accident that caused her to lose the baby, and
have
they
to
had
have a
to
hysterectomy.
yeah they had to remove the uterus.
Like all of that building up to like she became this scorned woman who I don't remember if they explained how she got in contact with. I don't remember his name, the Grim Reaper,
Yeah, no, they never did.
but like came into contact with him. He's like, "Cool, I'll help you do all this crazy shit that's going on in your mind because that sounds fun as fuck."
Right?
It's like, okay, well, I'll send you to heaven. I have no idea what heaven is. I know what hell is because I'm one hell
Oh,
of a butler.
But
when he
speaking
threatens
of
to kill Sebastian, he's
Sebastian,
like,
that
"I'll send you to heaven." He's
transition
like, "Bitch,
from
I'm a demon."
Overlord and talking about abilities going from being able to click a button to concentrating and having it happen, the way he does everything, it's just like, so it makes you wonder how long has he been in servitude with CL, but how long has he been alive and perfecting his craft to be able to do things that even a demon would find hard to do.
Well, they did kind of explain it in, I believe it was episode 4. It might have been 5. No, I think it was 4. Where the the demon and the person that they're contracted with.
Well, they only explained the contract. They didn't explain how long he's had the powers and perfected them.
Right.
And it's a cat and
Well,
mouse type thing. It's like
so you
that
would think that
contract is like
he's had contracts before.
right.
So I believe from the beginning, and like I'd have to go back and watch episodes 1 and 2, 3, but I believe it's explained in the beginning. Like he's a fairly powerful demon.
Oh no, they
Yeah,
explain that periodically. They drop hints and they go like, it's like
right.
I'm in servitude to you. And then in episode 4, they were like, it's a cat and mouse type thing. It's like you are my prey. I have to always follow you. I have to always be there. And
because they put that contract on.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, I know they explain how he got there so quickly. It's
so
literally like,
like
at the command of my master, I can appear anywhere as quickly as I need to be.
so like Lady Ivy was just saying, they don't really start dropping background story until season 2.
Well, I guess yeah. But from the beginning, it is heavily implied that Sebastian is a very powerful demon.
Yes. Yeah. Especially if you could grab, spit up bullets that hit you and just throw them and impale other people.
I
Yeah,
could get why
exactly.
a new anime person coming in to be like, is that just a normal demon ability? Because they don't explain it.
Yeah, they don't explain anything at this point.
But to
And
be fair,
me
like that's
being
any
new,
intro to an anime. They're not gonna explain everyone's full power set, full abilities. They're gonna be like, here's a little taste. Here's a little
Right.
more of a taste, and now we're
yeah.
gonna drop you with all the shit.
Well, it's like because I am kind of an amateur with anime, like I would think so far I've perceived that he's very powerful by just what he's already done in the first 5 episodes.
Right. Like in episode
Jumping out
4,
of the
jumping out of
carriage.
the carriage and beating them home with
Yeah,
everything already done.
exactly. Exactly. And so it's just kind of like,
All the
he's
humans,
very
all the human,
powerful.
what is it? Like the chef and other people, they're like, this is physically impossible, Sebastian. He's like, I'm just one hell of a butler
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
That's what hell
Exactly.
of a butler.
with that sexy suave face of his.
Swoon. Right.
Ah,
Yeah, I can't wait to jump into the next 6 and 7.
So if you do want to watch more of it, I'm not going to stop you. Just take notes. So
Right,
when I do watch them, you could go back to the notes
right,
and we can have these conversations. I don't want to hinder your journey of watching anime
right. But I have
at
other
all.
stuff I can jump into too, because
Right.
I still the last episode of Solo Leveling.
So
we love
I
solo
think
leveling so
for
much.
solo leveling, we're actually going to wait until the season finale, which isn't this weekend, which is next weekend, and just watch the 3 episodes because we already missed last weekend's. So
Right,
we're
Oh
right.
man, so good.
I've read it and it's fresh in my head. I know what's going to happen. She doesn't.
I do not. I do not, and I can't wait.
Um,
I have the books. I've read the or the manhwas. Like,
do you have volume 11 yet?
no, I have up to 6, which
Okay.
is up to I believe.
We're volume 11 just came out.
Yeah, I volume 6 goes up until I believe right after Jeju Island.
Yes.
If I have to go. I can go look at 6 real fast, but
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
season 2 for the anime literally ends practically at the end of volume 5, beginning of 6.
yeah. So
Yeah, so that's fun stuff coming up.
I
So,
because Derek was telling me like you guys were gonna do solo leveling and you binged it.
Yeah,
so
It's
like season 2, just go, do only a couple episodes, and then the next thing I know, we're at the end. I'm like,
how did I get here?
so I know you
okay,
started. I know you started. I got a cheat skill.
yeah,
Let me know if you're going to continue that one because that's
yeah,
something we can talk
still on
about.
episode 5.
Um, but if you go into Shangri-La Frontier, let me know because that's one that I would like us to have discussions on. I don't care if you
Okay,
binge the whole thing. It
okay,
gives me a reason to rewatch.
okay.
just so it stays fresh in my head. Like that anime is going to be like Dragon Ball Z to me. It's like I can go back and rewatch it an infinite a number of times and still find
Right.
enjoyment. It's just like solo leveling is going to be that way for me too. I'm going to be able to just keep rewatching, and as soon as I could get physical copies of solo leveling, it's being added to my collection.
I'm pretty sure I
Yeah.
got wifey on too. I think we made it to episode 3.
For which one?
So Shangri-La.
Oh, oh.
Shangri-La's fun.
So, so I have a 3 episode rule for myself that I give any anime 3 episodes if I decide if I'm gonna continue watching the first season or the show in its entirety. If it doesn't grab me by the 3rd episode, I typically stop unless the story is there or the anime, like one of two aspects have to be there to grip me to give it longer than 3 episodes before I give it up.
Or me, or like Lego Code, I have to give you like, hey, it picks up at this episode. You need to make it
Yes,
to this
right,
one
right.
before the
Kind of,
story
kind of
kicks
like,
in.
kind
Right.
of like when you got me and Twilight into Game of Thrones. You're like, the first half of first season, it's just terrible. You just gotta
Like
grit,
world
yeah,
building, you gotta get a feel for the world, and then
yeah,
shit will pop off, and you'll get it.
yeah, right.
Winter's
So,
coming. Winter's coming. Oh,
Oh, it's
so it's
here.
like if it's like that,
That's it.
I can understand.
Because you did it for me for Dan to Dan, and I did it for you with was it last one was Eighth Prince, which you adored and binged.
Oh yeah, that was
I think you
so,
got the first episode or two, and you were like, "I'm not really feeling it." I'm like, "Dude, just
two more
let it
episodes. You were like 2 more episodes.
let it settle in, let it settle in its ridiculousness." And you were like, "All right, I see it."
Right. But it was really good.
You just gotta, for some animes, you just gotta like embrace the just pure chaotic silliness of like the premise and everything, and you're like, "Oh, now that like I shut off that analytic part, and you're like, I see where it's funny. I see the
Yeah.
little jokes they're making here and there. You're like, all right, I can watch it now."
So I don't know if I put it in your list, but Kaiju number 8, Shangri-La Frontier. Um if you really want to go for a mind fuck, go for 86.
okay. Okay.
And if you do 86, that is one that I will definitely have Felix come back for because me and him can talk for hours and hours and hours about that anime alone
I
Okay.
love 86.
without rewatching. Like,
I would
Okay.
rewatch it just for the fun of it. I made wifey watch it. She loved it.
but
That's good to know.
I was telling Felix, I didn't add it to your list, but the shirt I'm wearing is Darling in the Franxx, and besides the fan service, because it is plot part of the plot, I don't consider it fan service, not in the typical way fan service is.
Hmm.
Um, it is a mech anime, but the story for Darling in the Franxx is something that should be witnessed.
Okay.
And that's one, it's only one season. And I don't mind if we just do a special episode if you want to just watch it in its entirety and us just have a conversation about that as it is a whole. I am willing to do that. Like, it is
Okay.
really good. And I could thank Felix for getting me into it because it's like I saw it and it was like, yeah, I'm gonna pass. It has mechs. I'm not big into mechs. It's like I had my fill with Gundam, and he was like,
Watch it.
dude, dude. It's like,
Yeah.
So I understand a lot of people's aversion to mechs. I'm not huge into mechs, but I started in anime with my mech animes with like Aldnoah Zero, Darling. I I think I had seen a little bit of Gundam, but like Gundam can really turn people off to mechs because it's super
right.
story driven, political. Like
Okay.
So it like there is cool mech fights, and that's what a lot of people that like get into anime really want, because a lot of them just want fantasy that like turns your brain off from the real world, and Gundam can really like make you
Trigger.
look at your own
Yeah.
world and be like, oh, because it's very political. It's very like
Okay.
government rebellions.
But
It can
speaking of the
really turn a lot of
political
people off to
aspect,
be like,
Darling in the Franxx is very much the same way, especially
it
once you
is,
get halfway through it. Because you're like, oh,
it
this
is.
is just them doing this, and then you're like, what the fuck just happened? Like the whole dynamic of the show just like did a 180.
But I think what Darling did to avert some of that was it's a completely different world. I mean,
Yeah,
technically still Earth, I guess in some ways. I don't know if they ever call it Earth, but it's a very different world system. They have different like resources and stuff, and like because a majority of the characters are young, like 16-year-olds. Like there are
yeah,
breaks in the episodes where it's fun and it's light. It's not
yeah.
Okay.
drowned in the like politicalness of their world.
Right, like 90, like the first couple of arcs
You're
of
gonna have to
Gundam were
test it
just
out.
straight political, hoopla.
Like up until Iron Blooded Orphans, they're all pretty much it's all about fighting the government.
Right.
It's all about seeing the atrocities and helping out the poor and seeing how these young freedom fighters are like suffering in the world.
Yeah.
There's something.
And I think that's why a lot of people like Black Butler as an anime, because it's like it's magical. There's serious moments and dark moments, but it's all thrown away with Sebastian's like non nonchalantness of his like, oh, I'm just a hell of a butler. We're fun now.
And not only that, but they actually talk about stuff that has actually happened in our realm, our life. Not necessarily our era, but like the last two episodes, Jack the Ripper. We know
Right.
Jack the Ripper existed. Do we know who he is? No.
But they
It's like,
bring like Black Butler brings in that light and levity to like historic
right,
moments and darkness in the
right.
world. And they're like, we're gonna touch on that darkness, but we're gonna make it light and fun. We're gonna make it magical. Like we're gonna throw away some of
Get
those other not
control.
thoughts in your head and be like, enjoy this little quick scene, a little fight scene of Sebastian beating ass.
There,
Like, oh, Ciel's in a little bit of danger. Look who comes to save him, being strong Sebastian. That's all I remember from the show. It's just Ciel doing his thing, being super smart as a child, and then getting into trouble, and Sebastian's like, I'm here, and I'm one hell of a butler.
yeah.
One hell of a butler.
He says that so often.
Now, there is one kind of slice of life anime that I would like to challenge Felix to watch.
He knows I
And
hate
the
slice
on-
of life.
and the only reason why I call it a slice of life, I wouldn't really say it's a slice of life because it has to do with the Earth battling the Moon,
Okay.
and it's called Brighter Than the Dawning Blue, and it is a show about the princess of the Moon doing a homestead on Earth with a nonchalant. You really don't know why this kid's chosen until like halfway through the show, and the secret hero is the kid's dad. Like he set everything up like decades, before all the events of the show actually happening. But it's those two pretty much trying to stop a war between Earth and the Moon.
So it's El Noah Zero.
But it's called Brighter Than the Dawning Blue. It's only in sub. I can't find a dub of it anywhere.
Uh,
Um,
a lot of animes have lost their dubs recently. I think Aniplex recalled all their stuff or revoked all the
I
licenses.
own it. I do own it. I have it on DVD. It's one of the oldest ones that I actually own series wise. besides Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. But it's really good, and I think you would like it if you could get past 3 episodes, just because of the story. To me,
I probably
I would consider it a slice of life because it takes place, day after day, like living life. But the caveat is they're trying to stop a war.
I might give it a shot. I don't see. I don't think I'm watching too much other than Solo Leveling right now.
If you can't find it, I could always just let you watch it when you're here.
That's true.
Yeah, tie him down, and so he has to watch it.
No, there's another show that his wifey wants us to do that with. I'm not doing that to you though.
Oh, Inuyasha. I don't hate Inuyasha. I've seen episodes. I've seen things about it, and I know the story. It's just I'm not. I wasn't an Inuyasha kid growing up.
I
I
get it.
had. I was a Yu Yu Hakusho boy.
Watching it.
I get it.
I think even Titus watches.
And I was thinking about it, like doing the last episode of Solo Leveling, doing my reaction, like as it's going on, like having me watch it, videoing me, going, "What the fuck?" It's like did they really just animate this the way they animated it? I've thought about doing
Last
something.
episode we watched.
Oh my god, one of my favorite characters just gets introduced, gets beheaded.
Are we still talking about Solo Leveling?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. She's one of the Japanese hunters.
yeah.
They literally just like, oh, are you gonna heal me? Next thing you know, her head's off.
It's a good episode.
So,
I remember so many people were mad. They're like, Biru doesn't look as cool, and I'm like, yeah, because he's still just a regular ant.
right?
He's not supposed to look cool yet.
So, I appreciate both you being here for this conversation of episodes 4 and 5 of Black Butler and the side banter about other anime, which I actually really enjoyed because that's how this community should be. We should be able to talk about one thing, be able to talk about other things, and then get back to the source subject of what we are doing because it all ties in together at some point. Doesn't
That's
mean
the
it's all the same, studio or voice actors or anything like that, but the fact that we can find enjoyment out of all of these different genres of
Right.
what anime offers, is something that we should be able to talk about.
what's the beauty of it all. Like it all connects. Like especially if you stick to certain genres, they're all gonna take inspiration from either the same source or the previous anime and its iterations for
Right.
generations. You're always gonna find connects.
Yep.
And that's the beauty of it all. That's the beauty of all art. You're gonna find little hints that like connect it all together. Like, oh, I see where they get as inspiration for that from, and ooh, that I had a similar moment in my life that was like that. I can see maybe they had a similar thing in their
Right.
inspiration.
That was
That's the
like
beauty
when we
of all
first
art.
watched Black Clover. It was like the first 3 episodes were like Asta's Goku.
Well, that's just the thing of shonen. All shonen protagonists are the same. It's just a simple, lovable, brain dead kid who just wants to get stronger.
And protect his friends and family.
It's a common trope. It annoys me when people get mad about it. I'm like, just don't watch that one. Go watch the one you like.
Right.
It's
Right.
that simple.
If you don't
Like
like it, why watch it?
well, if you don't like it and you watch it, my thing is like, why complain about it? Like,
Exactly.
Right.
if you
Yeah.
don't like it, then just switch to something you do like. Find something you do like. Don't bash something that someone else likes
Right.
just because you don't like it. Like
Right.
that
Right.
doesn't help anything. If you have criticism, that's one thing. If you want to be like, well, I don't like how they do this in this show. Okay, cool. We can talk about that. Like
In
Yeah.
the
why you
words
don't like that and why
in
that
the
like
words
rubs you the wrong
of
way.
Samuel L. Jackson, I watch anime. hentai too. I still can't believe he said that, but he's right. It's like the way that they do the stories in anime, and even hentai, you will not find in Hollywood. Just the way that they could write a story, then animate what is being portrayed is so different than what you could do IRL.
Hmm.
Well, the
Even with
thing is animation. You can do all these kind of cool power systems that are all over anime.
yeah,
You can't really. It's really hard to show and like do it cheaply in IRL because you're either gonna need a shit ton of CGI or a shit ton of
right,
like props and stuff that are
Hmm.
gonna cost a lot of money. Whereas if you have a steady budget, you can get good animators to draw it out for you and animate it for you, and it looks really good. That costs like roughly equal to a normal budget show or movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Take Green Lantern for example. They spent so much money just on the suit, the CGI suit, that they forgot the rest of the movie.
Well, they forgot a lot of the story. Like I don't hate Green Lantern. I
I
got what
actually
they
enjoyed
wanted
it.
to do.
I think I'm one of the 100 people in the whole world that actually enjoyed that movie. But I'm
Like
a Ryan Reynolds fanboy, so
I can watch it and like not. I can sit through it and be like, I can see the critiques, and I'm not gonna bash on it because I'm like, I get what they wanted to do, but
right,
I can see where they put too much money into one thing and forgot other things.
right.
Like I enjoyed
That's what Hollywood does.
X-Men Origins Wolverine. Like it was a
I
fun
like
movie.
that one too.
Did they fuck up Deadpool? Fuck yeah, they did. Did they like not? Did they introduce way too many characters and like focused on a little too extra stuff that they didn't need to? Yes.
Yes.
Was it a fun movie? Yes.
I felt that one
Is it
coming.
really that? Is it really that windy?
Yes, it actually was nice and sunny, and then now we have like straight cloud cover and wind.
Yeah, I noticed.
Honestly, it looked like it was all smoke.
Really.
Crazy.
So I think this is a good spot to end the episode.
See
If
you
you
next
guys
time.
want, we can stay on the call. But everybody else, thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the content that we discussed about. And excuse me, and I look forward to doing this again next week.
Yep. Me too. Bye.